Hey everybody, it's your pal Mike Zombie, and this week we're going to talk about The Video Dead from 1987. A very 80s zombie film, but it's got all the elements that we've come to know and love from an 80s zombie film. There's the guitar intro with a little solo going on to kind of take us to the credits. Every scene kind of has its own musical theme, and it changes about 300 times throughout the film. And of course, a couple of teenage girls, one of which appears to be about 32, just saying. And zombies. Okay, the movie starts out with a nice house, a little two-story, in this kind of woodsy area. I think it was called like Shady Pines or something like that. Anyway, there's a writer, and he's writing, and he gets a ring at the doorbell. It's a delivery of a TV that he didn't ask for. And, well, he doesn't know it's a TV, it's a box. And he's like, I didn't order anything, and I've only ordered a pizza in the last 6 months. And the delivery guy's like, come on, it's heavy. Come on, please take it. So he does. Opens it up, and be damned if this TV isn't old. It's old and dirty and just really poor shape. So he's like, what the fuck is this? He plugs it in and turns it on, and it's got really crappy reception. And, of course, what should come in but a zombie film in black and white. And the zombies are kind of walking around and bumbling around, and he's like, well, whatever. And one of the zombies turns and stares awkwardly at the screen, what we would think would be the camera. And he walks up, and he's looking around, and he realizes that he can somehow get out of this TV. To make a long story short, zombies come out of the TV at night and kill the guy. So we flash forward 3 months later or something, as a new family has bought this house. Now, we only know this because the teenage girl, who appears to be 32, shows up in a cab and says, thanks. Oh, to the cab driver. The cabbie goes, is this your house? And she goes, yeah, I think so. And he's like, you don't know your house? And she says, well, my parents bought it. None of us have been here yet. And they're over in Saudi Arabia and something else. And I'm just going to get it cleaned up and blah, blah, blah. So we kind of get the backstory. And, see, that was the way to do it. I like when a movie gives us incidentally a little bit of, backstory. So we get it incidentally with a little bit of small talk. So we know that they're moving in. So she comes in the house, and she's kind of getting stuff cleaned up, and her kid brother shows up. And this kid brother, this is where the movie, and this may sound dumb, and I don't have any real reasons as to why, this movie kind of at this point started to remind me of The Gate. If you've seen The Gate, it kind of had that feel of, older sister running the show, little brother kind of just hanging out being a dope. And I guess this also would fall along the lines of Return of the Living Dead Part 2. That was the same kind of thing in The Gate. And he shows up and he's helping. He meets the girl from down the street. He's got a little crush on her. And he's kind of getting stuff set up. And he hears at night, I forget his name, but it's like, hey, dork, come up to the attic. I want to kiss you. Come up to the attic. I need you. And he jumps up and he's like, got a boner, and he's running upstairs. And what bothered me about this is the only other woman in the house was his sister. So his happiness to run upstairs and find this female voice was a little awkward. Anyway, he gets up there and there's a TV. And he's like, oh, well, okay, that's weird. Takes it down back to his room, plugs it in, turns it on. And, of course, this beautiful blonde woman appears and is talking to him. And he's like, oh, my God. By the way, he's totally getting ripped. He's got a whole bag of dope. And he's smoking a joint. And it's the worst rolled joint I've ever seen, by the way. I think my mother has rolled better joints. Sorry, Mom. This lady comes out of the TV and starts making out with him. And he's like, whoa, this is crazy. Basically, she's just showing that she can come out of the TV. Then she goes back into the TV. She laughs at him and mocks him and turns it off. He throws his dope away. He's like, I don't know what's in this stuff nowadays. So basically, the next day, this redneck guy shows up. And, of course, he shows up in a messed up car that's leaking a ton of water, and it's got steam pouring out. And it has Texas plates. And we know before the door opens, he's going to be wearing boots. Hot damn if he's not wearing boots. And he walks clip-clop, clip-clop, clip-clop like a pony up to the door, because apparently this guy from Texas has never worn boots before. And knocks on the door. The kid answers. He's like, hey, you got my package. You got my TV. It's really important that I get it, and blah, blah, blah. And the kid just kind of shines him off, tells him pretty much to fuck off, and closes the door. Then nighttime comes, and all kinds of zombies come out of the TV, run around, start killing people, and shit gets out of control. Next day, the redneck guy comes back, And says, see, you should have listened to me. And the kid's like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. And his little girlfriend gets kidnapped by one of the zombies. And, let's talk about the zombies for a sec. Or I'll talk, you'll listen. These zombies are kind of silly because they kill a bunch of people. And they don't want to eat our brains, eat our flesh. They just want to choke the shit out of us. So the zombies are each taking turns choking people. That's their method of killing, is just strangling people. And they not only do they kill us, they like to kind of do our stuff. So like the lady zombie puts on a wig and is like imagining she's pretty, she's playing with a blender, and they're kind of walking around kind of using tools and doing habitual things. Now, these zombies can be defeated in a number of ways, as the redneck tells us. If you mortally wound them, even though they're dead, if you shot one in the stomach, it would fall down and think it was dying. It would kind of lay there in a trance because it was thinking it was going to die. This may mean that they don't understand their mortality, or they're zombies, or I don't quite know. Or if you lock them into a place where there's absolutely no escape from, they'll go crazy and just fall apart and die. Or if you treat them like everyday people, they don't get mad. They're like, oh, okay. If you're like, hey, mister, hey, how you doing, buddy? And he's like, rrr. Hey, come on in. We're going to play some Xbox. Sit down. Check it out. Have some pizza. I mean, he'll be like, rrr. He'll come in and sit down and do the shit. But if you show fear, he'll strangle you. So they get together after his girlfriend's been kidnapped and taken out to the woods, and the redneck and the boy go out and they use bows and arrows and a bunch of bear traps and bullshit and chainsaws to kill almost all the zombies by shooting arrows and stuff into them. Now, sadly, the redneck dies, as does the boy, and his girlfriend they find dead. So the zombies that have been mortally wounded with these arrows eventually wake up and go, "Ugh," and they stand back up and walk back to town. They go to kill her, and she does the, I'll be nice to you. Hi, zombies, blah, blah, blah. And she kind of goes crazy. They're kind of running around, but she tricks them. She gets them all in the house. She's nice to them all. She takes them all to the basement, and I'm not kidding you, to have a dance party because they all want to dance. And she's like, the record player's down there, but I have to get the records from upstairs. So she closes the door, locks them in, and they all realize they're trapped and they die. So, yay. But it's kind of all for naught because the redneck dies, the brother dies, his girlfriend that he liked dies, there's a poodle that dies, and the teenager girl who's 32 ends up in an insane asylum, and her parents, of course, have been told to treat her normal, so they show up and like, hi, honey, well, okay, we just wanted to stop in and see how you were doing, and we're going to go shopping, but hey, we brought you a surprise. And they wheel in, of course, the fucking TV, and they plug it in, and the girl's screaming as they all leave. And the zombies realize that, hey, I'm on TV. And of course, the cycle starts again. But this time the girl's surely going to die. I like this movie because it was a fun 80s film, with the rock and roll soundtrack and, with 80s movies, I swear to God, there's a bunch of women that you see naked, and the one you really want to see naked never gets naked. That seems to be the fucking case with these movies, but this was no exception. But it was kind of fun, It took me back to the easier times of zombie horror when we just were entertained, and we didn't have to have all these big debates of, are they running, are they walking, are these Romero-style zombies? There was a time when this stuff didn't matter, and we just enjoyed and appreciated the movie was put before us. And I kind of miss those days because I tend to, my reviews don't so much explain when I'm summing up a movie in my head and I'm kind of comparing it and contrasting to other movies I've seen, and the things I look for to make it, whether or not I enjoy it. Of course, I don't explain all those things, but it used to be easy. I used to sit down and just enjoy the damn movie. This is one you should see. It's on Netflix, which is how I saw this one. And it's kind of funny. There's a couple funny parts and good music. And I forgot, the zombies hate their own reflection. So mirrors ward them off. So if you have a mirror, you can test to see if they're vampires and scare them away if they are, of course, TV zombies. Trying to think of what else. This was very 80s. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. And, of course, his stash of marijuana looked like a full ounce of oregano. Just finely ground up. Anyway, enjoy the video dead. The good news is, folks, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and I'm going to send this review to McPierce tonight. This may throw him into shock. I don't think I've ever sent one in this way. And I'm going to watch another movie tonight. It's only 8 o'clock here. I got a couple hours to go. I might do another review tomorrow. The Video Dead, 1987. By the way, Mike Zombie was 13 years old. 87? Yeah, I was. 14. Yeah, good God. Wow. Time flies. See you next week.